and it ended up at the top part of northern part of Coleman impact area as the stuff got smaller or shorter range, and it ended up all the way down to like the sniper rifles and everything. So you just saw exactly what all. It's very impressive and very informative. So if there's another one coming up and you go like, and they say, oh, we need another 7 or 8 people to make the bus full.
Okay, sure.
We'll put our military liaison on that.
I've done it.
Commissioner Keith.
Thank you, sir.
With the suit and without.
Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome. You're welcome.
And thank you for your presentation.
Yep. Thank you for listening, and thank you for having us. And we'll look forward to coming back. Marshall has a question, Commissioner. Sure.
I didn't have a question for the presenter, but I just wanted to make a point. Back in the mid-'90s, myself as a county commissioner representing this board, and then Tommy Bolton, who then was representing the city of Fayetteville. The two of us went out to Fort Bragg at the invitation of the judge advocate, and we sat down with him to talk about this very subject, and this is 20 plus years ago. A lot of that conversation was about the red cockaded woodpecker. If you recall, that was a big issue back at that time, and management of that particular issue. But what was on our plate was complaints from citizens around the perimeter of Fort Bragg within Cumberland County and City of Fayetteville, and the JA impressed upon us how noise complaints and so forth can impact the mission of Fort Bragg. How if they're compromised, then our region can be compromised, because there can be senators here and congressmen there that would love to have those resources in their districts, and this is before BRAC, the last BRAC, and all the money that was spent out there. But we knew Walmart was getting ready to spend $250 million, and we said, well, they're getting ready to spend all this money. He said, that's not going to matter in Washington, D.C. So we came away it was very much impressed upon us that we've got to protect the mission of Fort Bragg by managing this area around, and if we encroach on it too much, it could be in jeopardy. It's probably less of a problem now than it was a little over 20 years ago, because they have acquired somehow the Rockefeller property, which has given them more space to manage the woodpecker situation. But the noise can still be an issue if citizens are complaining about it. So we've got to take this very seriously, and that I came back and reported to our board about it, and Tommy went back and reported to his board, and it was pretty impressive. And so if we need to maintain some contact directly with Fort Bragg on this issue, then like you said, our military liaison and so forth can be the conduit for that. But we must take it very seriously.
Thank you.
If I can just add just a couple of comments. The red cockaded woodpecker issue is still a concern. It's not the concern it was in the 90s, but it's still an issue. But it's being managed very well, and it's having less of an impact on training as it did in those days. Thank goodness. The real estate issue that I wanted to mention was in 2005. If you purchase property now in Cumberland County, you are made aware that there may be military training impacts. You sign off on that when you close on your home. Now, if you've done that before, there's a lot of paperwork in that, and you might miss it. But there is notification that's made to buyers now when they purchase property that they're potentially within an area where they will experience noise and military training impacts. So that's a very positive step that was taken back in 2005, for this area to help lessen some of the concerns about the noise complaints. But having your signature on a piece of paper doesn't always, mean anything. But at least it does help raise awareness to some point. And then finally, as I had pointed out earlier, the General Assembly did pass within 5 miles of a military installation anywhere in North Carolina, local governments have to notify the military installation, whether there's a zoning change. So I think those steps have help protect and go a long way to making the situation better for all of our military installations in the state. But there's still room for progress.
Any other comments, questions? Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Mrs. County Manager, are there any items to be pulled from the consent agenda?
No, sir.
All right, if not, I will accept a motion for approval of the consent agenda.
So move.
Have a motion
Second.
and a second. All those in favor?
Unanimous.
That's unanimous. There are no items of business, no nominations. We're down to the appointment. There are 2 nominees for 1 vacancy with the Federal Economic Development Board. I understand at this time Kevin Farmer's name has been placed in nomination along with Tim Richards. So at this time, we will open up for the floor for. You ready to call for the vote?
Call for the vote.
Okay. We'll do Kevin Farmer first. All those in favor of Kevin Farmer?
Voting for Kevin Farmer, Commissioners Council, Chairman Lancaster, Commissioners Adams and Evans.
Okay, those for nominee Tim Richards.
Voting for Mr. Richardson, Commissioners Faircloth, Keefe, and Boos.
So the vacancy has been filled by Kevin Farmer. Any other business at this time?
Mr. Chairman, I think you're going to recognize a couple of people in the audience. I think the mayor of Spring Lake is here.
Well, we'll recognize him one more time if you like.
And the Library Board of Trustees
Mr.
member.
Dobbins, do you have anything to say at this time?
Good morning. And Happy New Year.
It's good to see you, my friend.
Yes, I'm just happy to be here. Part of my mission to make Spring Lake the kind of place that people want to stop, shop, buy, and live.
Excuse me, Mayor Dobbins, could you go to the microphone,
I'm
please?
sorry, sir. That is.
He thinks he's in the classroom. That's okay. You go right ahead.
They always did tell me I had a lot.
We can hear you, but the woodpeckers can't hear you.
I know they drown us out down there too. Yes, thank you all for the opportunity to attend this meeting and the invitation to be here. I am here to represent Spring Lake to the very best of my ability. So whatever can be done to improve the quality of life in my place of birth, I would appreciate it. And no, we would appreciate it. And thank you all. And you will be seeing more of me again, as it is my mission to represent my town and my city and my county. So may God bless each of you, and as they say in the country, heaven smile upon you.
Hey, I've known you for a long time, my friend, and your community is fortunate to have a gentleman like you.
Thank you.
Leading Spring Lake.
Yes, thank you.
Congratulations.
Let me tell you about Larry Lancaster.
Turn the microphones off. Turn the microphones off.
I had applied to teach in Cumberland County back in the 70s. At that time, I was employed in Durham County schools. It was on a Saturday, and he came rushing to my grandmother's house there on Pine Tree Lane and said, "Man, we want you to come work at Spring Lake Middle School or Junior High School." I said, "I'll be there Monday." Thank you, Larry Lancaster.
All right.
It was a great decision.
Yes, it was.
It was a great decision.
Yes, it was. And it was a great partnership. I
Weren't
thank
you a
for that.
student?
Thank you.
Weren't you a student?
Yeah. I
But
was
thank
young
you.
student. I'm still a student. And
Our Library Board of Trustee members here.
yes,
She's
hey, always good to see you. And we've got Robert back there in the back.
Thank
hanging out
you.
with Jeff. Jeff, you can leave now, son, okay? Any other business to come before this group? If not, we are adjourned. Thank you for coming.
It is cold in here.
I thought we had to have a motion for adjournment.
Oh, yeah, it's on that.
No, we probably do.
No, it's cold in here. My feet are cold. Well, I made it.
If you didn't make it.
I just said I thought, but you know, it's much easier that way. Okay. ready to meet.